Hey y'all, it's Jarrett from the Netter Center, and today we're talking fruit stand curriculum. We're gonna go through a lot of the digital resources that exist, and I'm gonna try to also explain as best as I can, what that looks like at the school site and how so everything works together so that fruit stand can be like the most engaging, joyful, safe, fun experience of teamwork and healthy deliciousness. Okay, here we go. So I am gonna share my screen and we're gonna look at this fruit stand instructor guide together. This has been emailed to everyone. It's really the instructor mentor guide. It's for all adults working with fruit stand. And let's just walk through it. So the beginning is the agendas that really just go through step by step how to engage kids in the after school space during the fruit stand activity. Then there's some important links. And then at the bottom are all of the supplies that are at your schools and how they were organized when they were brought to your schools. There may be some moving around and some differences when you get to your school than what's here, but this is sort of our goal, and we're going to work together to just keep things as organized and supported as possible. So all the supplies down here. Okay, so let's just go through the lesson plans. So week one is what happens when it's the first time that the adults and kids have ever worked together in fruit stand. This is the relationship building, rule setting, really just going over the why we're doing the work. It doesn't involve food. After this is done, then we'll talk about what happens during every other fruit stand, but this is sort of the first introductory session. What happens at the beginning is adults only instructor prep before fruit stand begins. You're getting all of the supplies for fruit stand as much as possible in your space for when kids arrive. You're pre-writing agendas on chart paper. One is the actual agenda for the day. The other piece of chart paper just says, why are we running fruit stand on top? And the third piece just says fruit stand rules on top. Okay, so then kids get there and you're spaced together and it's your first time together. So we're going to build relationships. We're going to play games. We're going to learn names. There's a video for a quick icebreaker here, but you probably also have tons of different games that you've played in the past that you enjoy. Also in the instructor binder, there's a packet of more games. I'll talk about that. But at the beginning, it's all about building relationships, not about selling fruit. It's about like learning about each other, what you like to do, how many brothers and sisters you have, that sort of thing. Okay, so we've played some games. And then as you see, like the prompts are always about like instructor asking, like adult asking a young person to take ownership and responsibility of doing something. It's up to you to gauge and be flexible when it's appropriate and not to do this, but in our written materials, we're always going to strive for as much youth ownership as possible. So having a young person read the why are we running fruit stand, and then folks will write answers to it. You'll write them down. And then having folks talk about rules that need to happen for fruit stand to work, no fighting, these types of different things. Kids will have great ideas. When you have your rules, let's have everybody sign this big sheet of chart paper as like sort of an agreement that we're going to do this. Then we have to learn about like how fruit stand works. Fruit stand is a role-based activity. So every time that you're in fruit stand, you'll have a specific role that will have responsibilities that you'll do in order for fruit stand to work. We'll talk through that. Today, there are these, so here are some of the roles: operations, design, accountant, nutrition researcher. We're always also making more roles, which I'll talk about. And so we can have more ways of engaging kids. And what you'll do is you will hand out a role sheet and role binder to groups of kids so that the kids can learn about what the different roles are and share those out with their peers. So let's just go into roles right now. So I'm going away from our agenda and going back to the mentor guide. And there's a couple places that I can go to really quick to learn about what the roles are for Fruit Stand. The most quick is just in these key links is the role binder contents. So this is a link to our Google Drive folder that has the different binders. And then if you click on a folder, the different things that we've printed and put into the binders. Another place to find this information, if you scroll down to supplies, all the roll binders are in the design bin. And you can see these different things that are printed and put into the roll binders here as well. And so all the different resources are linked in, and they're links from these Google Drives. Okay, so the roll binders themselves look like this. So here is the operations binder. You'll have this at your school. So when it's time for kids to get into groups and for each group to get a role, one of the roles will have the operations binder. In the operations binder are all these different photo guides for how to make different things in Fruit Stand. Here's how to make a smoothie. Okay, so there's a binder for each role, and that's what those look like. I'm gonna go back to the, oops, it's the wrong screen. Sorry, y'all. Thanks for your patience on this kind of like Zoom shared in like all these different ways that we're trying to do this. Okay, go back to this screen. Let me figure out. Okay, here we go. Okay, so let's get back to the agenda. So we just talked about roles, and I kind of zoomed in to the operations role in the binder there, but everyone will be looking at the different binders in this first day together. And students that are in Fruit Stand, the elementary or high school students, as part of being in Fruit Stand, will also have their own individual mastery journal. So let's say I'm a student named Michael. I'll have my own journal that is a mastery journal for me. And I'm gonna walk through this really quick. So at the beginning, everyone will put their name on it. So I put, my name is Michael, I put my name here. And then in this mastery journal, table of contents, and each table of contents is organized by a chapter. We'll go through that. I think it's easier digitally, but just to show you, one of the chapters is clean and safe. Each chapter has a task. This one's hand washing. And if I, as a student, wash my hands properly, like exactly as it says in these words right here, then I can get a sticker here. And the instructor binder has the stickers, and any adult can give me a sticker that's witnessed me washing my hands correctly. There's a place, date, and initials to put it. And if I do this 3 times, wash my hands properly 3 times, I finish this task. And each category or each chapter, like clean and safe, has several different tasks. So the next one here is putting on the uniform. And when I do each task 3 times, that's when I get the big sticker, the big crown gold sticker. And we have wristbands for the different categories, these different chapters. So you can see team member is one of the things. If I do all the different team member tasks, I can earn my team member mastery. And if I do this, and let me show you how we organize it. So here's my binder. In the front of my binder, there's a Ziploc bag. And in there is where I'm going to keep all of my wristbands that I've earned for mastery. So here's my Ziploc bag. And in here is my team member wristband. Right here, team member. So beginning of Fruit Stand, I can put that on and everyone will know that I've mastered, I'm a team member master. So you can look to me if you need help on becoming one yourself. Okay, so that's how this mastery journal works. And there's tons of different tasks for students to master and for you to reward your students for mastering them. I'm be excited about this and motivated to do all these different types of activities. Let me show you real quick what this looks like digitally, just so we're all on the same page. So I'm going to go back here. Remember, in our supplies section is where all of the different supplies are laid out, and design bin is where the journals are. And so the mastery journals are here, and in my rings is where the mastery sheets are. So this goes through all those different chapters and tasks, and you can see digitally what the actual binder looks like. Okay. So that's the mastery, and you'll go through those with your students and spend some good time looking through them, the different tasks you can do, skills you can learn, earn wristbands for. You're going to walk through your space, make sure everybody knows, where the sink is, where the bins are stored, just, all of that, where to put food, where not to put food. If there's time, we can learn how to put on a fruit stand uniform. There's a video that shows how to do that, just to help prepare anyone that's going to be demonstrating that. And just, and then some wrap up at the end to make sure you're putting things away, asking students questions, just getting on the same page, building relationships, and just having a good team. So that's that. Oops. Week 1. Then, okay. So like that's the first time you meet your fruit stand team. And like I said, normally fruit stand happens 2 days a week in a school. And the first time it happens is when you're going to be doing this team building lesson. And so if like fruit stands Monday and Fridays, then typically every Monday would be the team building lesson. And every Friday would be the running the schools, the fruit stand store lesson. And then it's different because every single time, like you're learning and growing and different things are happening, but the structure is the same. And sometimes, just so we're all on the same page, based on the school, you might just do the school store every time. Sometimes you might do a couple skill building before you start a store. Really depends on the site, the experience, the feel, what the needs are at the school. But each of these lessons works really well if you follow them and make sure you have the tools and, just are breaking students up into groups and really empowering them to lead the different roles and activities. So the team building lesson itself looks a lot like all the lessons are structured in a similar way. Here's what happens when the students aren't there. So what the adult does first, gathering supplies, pre-writing agendas. So one chart paper has what's happening that day. One chart paper has how the different stations or how the space itself will be broken up. So if you're working on operations, you'll be over here. If you're working on design, you'll be over here and doing this. If you are working on another task, you'll be over here, and here are some of those tasks that you can do, so that it's very clear to the students what the activities are available to do that day. And then always posting the fruit stand rules that y'all agreed to and signed off on. Students are going to get there. You're going to do games. You're going to build relationships, talk through the agenda, talk through the rules. Okay, here's a recommendation. It works differently at every site, but if you really want to reinforce this mastery journal, make sure it's in students' hands. So at the beginning of the lesson, let's pass them out. Let's make sure students know what's happening that day. Let's let them have time to look through this and see what they might want to master. There is this cool skill planning tool that kids have in their journals, and I'll just show you here what it looks like. And this is something that students can take out at really any time and plan for themselves. Hey, I haven't gotten this sticker. I really want this one. And so here's what I need to do. Here's help I could find based on what role I'm in. Here are some things that are important for me to do this role well. It's really just trying our best to create space for students to be planning, to be supported, and be successful in what they want to be doing at Fruit Stand. So that is a tool to use to help students really understand and navigate their mastery journal. Okay. Okay. So let's just read this together. It is up to the fruit stand team if students want to get into roles on team building skill development days. Students should be able to work on any project and practice any skills that are interesting to them. Getting into roles is a good idea if your team wants to role play and practice running fruit stand together. Okay, so what that is saying is that, like, because this day is a lot about practicing and developing the different skills that are in the mastery journal, maybe it doesn't make a lot of sense for a student to be an accountant that day, but maybe it does if the student wants to be an accountant for a role play of what fruit stand will be. The accountant is really designed to be happening when fruit stand store is operating. And so on the skill development days, there's more flexibility in which roles students are in and what they're doing. If there isn't something specific that has to be done for like the store to be successful. Okay. So then there's the activity station. Students are doing, practicing, learning. They're supported by mentors. People are having fun together. You're cleaning up together, and there's some intentional time to wrap up, taste test anything that you've made, go through your mastery journals, make sure that students have stickers for anything that they've accomplished, reflect on how well you've done the rules. And if students are earning Rebel Bucks wages for their time in fruit stand, then you can either give them money at the end for what they've earned, or you can use this sheet to track, and this is something the accountant is responsible for, what different students have earned on each day that they're doing fruit stand. And just to go back, because we haven't talked about it yet, the options for wages in fruit stand. Let me see, I believe that is in our instructor binder wage chart, or sorry, it's in the mastery journal. It should all be on the same page. Mastery journal wage chart. Again, optional, but your students, while in fruit stand, can earn Rebel Bucks if that is how y'all have set up your fruit stand, like a salary. And we have it laid out so they earn a salary for if they're in a role. They really don't want to they're not feeling fruit stand that day, they want to do their homework, they can earn a lower salary for doing homework. And then if you're in one of these roles and you earn a sticker, you get a 1 Rebel Buck bonus. And if you get a gold sticker, which is, you've finished everything in a chapter, and you get the big sticker, it's a 5 bonus. If there's like crazy inflation at your site and 1 and 5 don't really make sense, then it's really up to you and the site director to determine how to change your wages so that it fits what the economy is at your fruit stand site. Okay, let's go to the fruit stand store. So just to be clear, what we just talked about with wages could be earned any of these days. I know at a lot of sites, they only do it on days that the fruit stand store is being run, but it's really up to you in terms of wages. Okay. Not talking about wages now. Now we are talking about this agenda for how to run a fruit stand store with your students. Similar to the last 2, adult-only activities, gathering supplies, pre-writing agendas. I've talked about flexibility, really, it's so important. And if you are there and all your students are there right at the beginning, your students can help you do some of these things that we've said before fruit stand begins. It just, whatever works best for your site, your time, as long as, it's well supported, is what you should be doing. So you're gathering supplies, we're pre-writing agendas, we're putting up our fruit stand rules. Everyone's together, playing games, building relationships, reading rules, got our mastery journals out, figuring out what we want to master while we're working today. We're in our activity stations. We're doing what needs to be done for fruit stand to operate. Now, if you're the accountant and you finish doing what the accountant does, then go work on something else, right? Like everyone's supporting each other. just because you're in one role doesn't mean you can't make smoothies. Like, everyone can collaborate and have fun. The roles are there to make sure that some people are responsible for some key things that need to happen for Fruit Stand to operate in the way it was designed. So we're doing activity stations, we're making parfaits, we're making smoothies, we're making signs, we're accounting for everything. We're learning about the nutritional qualities of these different things that we're selling. Then we're going to clean up, set up our fruit stand, table, store, cart, whatever it is at your site. We're going to get all our products ready for sale. And then we're going to start selling to the after school community. Each person on your team are in their roles doing their jobs to make Fruit Stand work. And then to wrap up, we're making sure everything's put away. We're reflecting, we're getting stickers. We're getting paid if you're doing Rebel Bucks. On the days, like every time that you run Fruit Stand, it's really important that the adults are making sure that everything is clean and put away in a safe, sanitary way. All food is stored in a rodent-proof way, pest-proof way, according to ServSafe that you've been trained on, according to the best practices of the site. We have this cleaning checklist here just as a reinforcement for the adults to make sure that they're going through and doing some specific tasks. And it's just really important for Fruit Stand to be successful that we leave everywhere cleaner than we found it. And need to make sure that any Rebel Bucks you've received at the store are going back to the site director or however you've set up at your site for Rebel Bucks to get to the adult in charge, to give to the teachers, to give to students so they can use them again at your Fruit Stand store. Likely you'll want to save some for change. And this is something that is learned throughout the process of running Fruit Stand. Okay. So those are the like main activities. It's like the first week we gotta like know who each other are. Like we have to make sure like we're having fun. We know why we're doing this. We know how to be safe. And then moving forward from that, there's some balance of spending time focusing on developing skills, building our team, and then spending time running this Fruit Stand store for the whole after school summer camp community, whichever you're situated in. Okay, to do all of these things, just going to point out where some of the like key resources are. So most everything is stored somewhere in this Google Drive, hopefully in an organized way. We have a whole Fruit Stand design team of students that create all sorts of different handouts, activity sheets, stickers for Fruit Stand to be successful. For example, product stickers. If you're selling bags of orange slices, we can print these stickers so that you can put this like beautiful circular sticker on your orange slice bag to sell. So if on site you have any design needs, like we definitely have a team that can support that. But all these different things are stored in this Google Drive. I encourage you to explore the Google Drive. We've talked about the roll binders. This is where all the different like contents for each binder is stored on the Google Drive. So just so we're all on the same page, like marketing and design. Marketing and design, I have it in my hands right now. So design binder, there's price tags here. Oh, well, we have to make sure that here we go. We're going to do this all together. So here's the price tag file, and it's in now our price tag folder. And it's also, let me unshare real quick. Okay, so this is the design marketing design folder. So whatever students in your Fruit Stand are in marketing design, you hand them this folder, as well as the design instruction, the design roll sheet, and the instructor binder that says what to do before, during, and after Fruit Stand. Let's just do this together. So I'm on design. The instructor has given me this, my design roll sheet, and this. And with these things, and with my bin of supplies, I really should have what I need to do all the design tasks for Fruit Stand. In this folder, we've got the price tags. There's And then your folders on site, these will be laminated so you can reuse them. There's a menu that you can create. You'll have menu holders at your site. And then there's different like curricular materials, how to set up a dry erase board, how to decorate an apron. The design role can use this and do all of these different activities with students on your fruit stand team to make your fruit stand team awesome. So that is how like the Google Drive contents then get to your site and what that looks like once it gets to the site. Let's go back to the share. Okay. And we were here. So we're going over the roll binder contents. And again, just I know this is a reminder, a reinforcer, but if you scroll down to supplies, all the binders are stored in the design bin. And you can find the contents down here on the instructor guide. The instructor binder has your roll sheets that you hand out to whoever's in which role, your stickers so that you can put stickers on the mastery journals of the kids, and then just some other helpful resources for you. There's a timeline. This is really for the adults, just to visualize what the timing of fruit stand looks like, how set up, how with students, and how cleanup looks, the different amounts of time you would expect to spend on each activity. See, like the doing, it's like doing the roles is the 40 minutes, and it's like the big amount of time. Also some best practices for adults in the instructor binder. And then there's also sign-in sheets, and it's definitely encouraged your students in whatever program, like to be an after school, will be signing in, but it does help for just organization to have students sign in once they get to fruit stand. In the instructor binder, which I have here, there are lots of sign-in sheets printed out, and we can always print out more and add them too. So encourage signing in. Okay. So we've gone over the roll binder contents. All right. So in your operations binder are your photo guides. And these are all the different like sort of recipe tutorials for how to make different things of fruit stand. This is how to clean a blender, which is really important that you're cleaning the blades and being super careful with this. And so we're on the same page. Let me stop the share. Operations binder, photo guides. They're in sheet protectors or laminated. So if at your fruit stand, y'all are making oranges that day, like you can just take this out, the orange slice guide, and have it on the table next to the cutting boards. The operations person could be holding this and walking around the table and helping to explain things. I mean, there's so many different ways to bring these different materials to life. The important thing is you just have them out, you have them in kids' hands, you know where they are, you're using them. Okay, let's go back to the share. Okay, let's get into here. All right, so that was photo guides. Almost every photo guide has also a tutorial video. The culinary tutorials are all here. They're awesome. We did them in partnership with Quaker Kitchen at Penn. If you just click on the fruit stand YouTube channel, there is also a playlist of mindful like sort of stretches and exercises that you can look at. There's a training on nutrition. And then I got to make this video more easier to find, but there's a self-lamination tutorial. So what this does is show you how to take like your menu or your price tags and then use self-laminating sheets to make them laminated and like semi, reusable. I wouldn't say indestructible, but definitely more reusable than if it was just a loose sheet of paper. And so you can keep reusing these menus, or you can make your price tags and then you cut them out. Here, let's look at what it looks like at the end. Okay, So it's pretty cool. And just so we are all on the same page, at your school, you likely already have these already laminated and ready to go. If you don't, though, what you have, we've already looked at this, in your marketing and design journal are just the paper versions of the price tag. And then in your bin, you've got self-laminating sheets. So y'all can do this on your own at the sites in terms of laminating different resources to make them more usable. Okay, so that's like why I just want to make sure everyone is on the same page about all these binders that exist and that are there for you and your students to use. It really helps make the learning becomes more hands-on, more real world, more fun. Okay. So we did tutorial videos. Okay. Hierarchy of needs. This was an amazing resource created by our design team that really just kind of lays out priorities of focus for adults in fruit stand. So like safety first. We don't have safety. There's not much we can do when we're working with kids and food and blenders and things. So if you don't feel like you're in a safe space, then like a physically safe space, then we can't do any of the other things. And so that's why the Serve Safe is there. That's why all these different pieces are in place to help you all feel a sense of safety. There is also the Safe Spaces Handbook that I know is sent out in an original email to all students working with us, but I want to make sure that that is linked in. I'm now realizing how important it is. So let me do that now into our instructor guide. So Netter Center Safe Spaces Handbook. Okay. So safety is about physical safety and like emotional safety and really feeling like a valued member of a team and safe to participate, feeling respected. We worked with a GSE student who did interviews with tons of Netter Center staff, students, Penn students, K-12 students, community partners, and put together a toolkit on helping us to create and work in safe spaces. So definitely take the time to review this and bring some of these lessons into the fruit stand and the work that you're doing. Okay. Safety. Joy. This, like, it's real important that we're coming into the fruit stand experience with positivity. You and your fruit stand team have control over sort of this space that you're in together. And you've created some of your own rules, you're doing some unique things, have some unique tools and resources, and entering this experience with the recognition that like we're here to create joy for ourselves and others. Really, really important. Staying positive, trying to figure out ways to be flexible, solve problems, like, and maintain that sort of like positivity. Okay. With safety and joy, we can become creative. We can make different types of smoothies, beautiful signs, think about different and interesting games to play with our fruit stand team. So highly, highly encourage us getting to this creative space and reinforcing creativity together, trying new things. And if we've got this safety, joy, and creativity in this fruit stand environment, we can create healthy deliciousness. And that's like sort of our purpose here, is to together figure out how we can like bring this happy, like nurturing food and experience to our community. And we call that healthy deliciousness. Okay. So that's your hierarchy of needs. and is really like a sort of foundational resource for being an adult in Fruit Stand. Okay, talked about that, talked about safe spaces, activity sheets to earn Rebel Bucks. So every student in Fruit Stand and in the after school or wherever Fruit Stand is happening, if it's an after school program, a summer camp, has access to different coloring sheets and activity sheets. And one way they can earn Rebel Bucks to spend at Fruit Stand is by filling out these activity sheets, coloring sheets, and bringing them to you. And they're awesome. And we have a design team that keeps making more of them. And if you want to make them or have ideas for them, definitely share. These should be printed out at your site. They're also all available at the Netter Center front office on a magazine rack right in front of the front desk. You can go there anytime if you would like to bring activity sheets to your school. You can take as many as you want. You can also print them, share them. These are to be used by really any kids in the schools, and they can earn Rebel Bucks to spend at Fruit Stand by filling them out. Okay. I think that this has been pretty comprehensive. So I feel like, definitely look through the instructor guide, click in the links, click all the top links. If you have any questions, reach out to me. We're super excited to be working together on Fruit Stand this semester. I'm trying to think about any other important pieces of this guide that I missed. I'm sure there are many. So maybe we'll make some more videos. But for now, I think we'll call it. So thank you all so much for your incredible work supporting Fruit Stand, supporting kids, mastering all these different skills and creating healthy deliciousness in their schools. Again, I'm Jarrett, and by watching this video, you should have access to my contact info and all that sort of stuff. So just reach out to me if you have any questions about Fruit Stand. Yeah, I'm just so appreciative of the energy that you're bringing to this activity with kids, making smoothies, making parfaits, healthy deliciousness. Okay, thanks y'all.